with clocks, bro!
This game is better. This is only the first battle in the game, and it's better.
I have no idea what you're saying. And your suit sucks.
No!
Yep, it's better. Hello everybody, my name is Jared, and welcome back to So I Finally Played, the show where I look at games that everyone seems to enjoy and see if they really are that good years later. In the last video, I took a look at Sly Cooper and the Thieves Raccoonus. With a unique world and style, I was left wondering what would happen next. I've played Sly Cooper 3, so I didn't know how the story moved from one part of the story to the next. So join me as we take a deeper look into this world with Sly Cooper 2, Band of Thieves. Now, in case you forgot, Sly comes from a family of thieves and wants to become one in the future, but Sly's parents are killed by the Fiendish Five. Naturally, Sly defeats each of them later in his life with his friends,
the brains of our outfit, and Murray, the brawn.
And they end up dismantling Clockwork, the leader. With everything taken care of, it seemed as though Sly and his gang had nothing else to worry about. The heroes could go home safely. I don't know if you could pick that up, but that was just a crying and screaming child. Therefore, we know that things did not go as smoothly as possible. That was dumb. Now listen, there wouldn't be a second game unless there was something to worry about. Nah. The story begins with Sly and the gang pulling yet another heist at a museum, where they're trying to regain the clockwork parts. Of course, Carmelita Fox returns to find them in the middle of the heist. She sounds a little bit different though.
Whereas you crooks are so predictable. You always return to the scene of the crime.
She's also joined with Constable Neela, who just screams,
"I'm evil, whoa!"
I really don't need any help. Oh, I think you might.
The two of them explain that the Claw Gang has already stolen this part, and have very likely already stolen the rest of the parts as well. Similar to the last game, Sly now has to go to each member of the Claw Gang to regain the pieces before they're able to rebuild Clockwork. Now let me be clear, the first Sly game did a great job in introducing the main villains of each world. Each time you entered a new world, there would be a short description on who the villain was before they became evil, and explains why they decided to join the original Fiendish Five. They were built upon well enough that I was able to understand their drive to the extent of the game. The new members with the Claw Gang, so much better. Right out the gate, we are given who is probably one of the most well-known characters in the Sly franchise besides Sly. Dimitri, a club owner in Paris.
You take clockwork feathers and my counterfeiting operation. It's past tense.
Honestly, I could make an entire video based around why Dimitri stands out, but I think this clip is the best example. Next is Rajan, a tiger selling an illegal spice operation. Right as they're about to defeat him, Neela comes in and double-crosses the Sly Gang.
There they are, Contessa. Just as I promised. The Cooper Gang and Rajan all incapacitated.
Oh no, who could have seen this coming? No, Neela, why? Oh my goodness. How could we have guessed? No. Not only does she double-cross everybody, but she also frames Carmelita, and gets all of them arrested by the Contessa. Bentley saves them because the plot has to keep going, and after this point is when the game really starts to go down for me. Sure, there's the occasional mission here and there that feels completely unique, but for the most part I found myself knowing what to do because I had already done it in an earlier section. By the end, Sly and the gang, reunited, sneak on board to Arpeggio's blimp, a weird bird thing, who I think is French, but I don't remember.
Apart, eh? But it seems to have had quite the opposite effect. I'm truly grateful. When fully powered up, I'll join myself to its circuits and be born anew!
But they also have to say goodbye to the van.
That van was his life. I knew I'd have to find a way to make it up to him.
Alright, this is where it starts to get a little weird, so just try to stick with me. And if you don't think I really mean that, just give me a minute. Arpeggio and Neela are revealed to have been working alongside each other the entire time. Their goal is to reconstruct the clockwork parts in order to hypnotize the people of Paris to eat the spice Rajan was making, which makes them filled with hatred. Sticking along? Hold on, it gets weirder. Arpeggio does this so that he can merge with the clockwork body to achieve immortality. Okay. Hopefully nothing else crazy happens. Oh yeah, and Neela just decides to merge herself with the clockwork body.
This is preposterous. You're my protege. not the next candidate for my immortality. I demand you exit the clockwork frame or...
Behold, Kalakla is born!
How? I don't know. I don't really care either. It just kind of happens for the plot convenience. Sly and the gang, with the help of Carmelita, eventually defeat Clockla, but Bentley mentions that the only way they'll be able to never have to deal with Clockwork again would be by destroying the robot's hate chip. Bentley retrieves the hate chip, but crushes his leg in the process. Murray saves Bentley, Clockla explodes, yes, that's a real name in the Sly Cooper franchise, and Sly escapes. Okay, so it gets a little weird at the end there, but the story is very well executed. There are many parts within this game that I had to leave out without giving too much away, but this story is much better crafted than the first Sly game. Many consider this to be the absolute best in the franchise. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that, which I'll be covering in another video, but I can definitely see where they're coming from. As I'm sure you all have seen by now, the quality within this game far surpasses the previous game. The characters don't look all polygony now, the voice lines are much more clear, the worlds are much bigger, with levels actually being within the overworld, and the music is amazing.
Let's dance!
Rather than sticking to the original layout of Sly going into different levels within an overworld and having to complete them before facing a boss, the missions are split up and scattered around the overworld. And Sly isn't the only one doing missions anymore. Murray and Bentley are given some time now as playable characters, with each having their own unique skills. Murray is the muscle of the group, so his hits are much more stronger than Sly or Bentley. Meanwhile, Bentley is able to hack and has different means of attacking from far distances, such as darts and vehicles. This was a great introduction to the franchise, as each of their missions felt completely different and unique to each character. Sly controls just about the same to the previous game, only now the upgrades are not just limited to getting bottles and unlocking them within a hidden safe. Instead, the coins you gather can now be used to purchase these upgrades on Bentley's computer. For the most part, these upgrades are very useful and actually help you to explore more of the world. In some cases, these upgrades are actually needed in order to complete certain missions, such as the paraglider for Sly. These upgrades were a massive improvement from the previous game, where Sly could only go fast or slow. Now, Murray has fire fists! As I mentioned before, the game for me starts to get somewhat repetitive around the halfway point. But what made the game keep my interest throughout this was the worlds. Each world has a unique feeling and methods of navigation. From a Transylvania-esque prison to an airborne ship to a Canadian trade yard, I really enjoyed just looking around these worlds. Sly Cooper 2 is a massive improvement from the first game. With an improved story, more dynamic characters, and more playable characters, it's no wonder that many consider Sly Cooper 2 to be the best in the series. And don't get me wrong, while I do think it comes close, there's only one other game that tops this within the franchise, which we will talk about in a future video. So be sure to come back when we come to the semi-final of this retrospective, when I cover Sly Cooper 3, Honor Among Thieves.